Okay, get ready, because this deep dive, we're going into some really heavy stuff.
Yeah, no kidding.
We're looking at this article from NPR that came out December 9th. And, well, it's about a lawsuit with some pretty shocking accusations.
Yeah, and the accusations are against, it's Jay-Z.
That's right, Jay-Z. And it's, we're talking serious allegations here. To be honest, when I read this article, it really kind of shook me.
Yeah, it's some really serious stuff. So the lawsuit, it claims that back in 2000, after the MTV Video Music Awards, Jay-Z, who, they just refer to him as Celebrity A in the article, but yeah, it claims he was involved in the rape of a 13-year-old girl.
Wow.
Yeah.
And to make things even more complicated, I guess, the lawsuit also says that Sean Diddy Combs was involved as well, along with some woman that they're only calling Celebrity B.
Right, and you got to remember that Diddy he's already caught up in a whole other legal battle, right?
Right, he's actually in jail right now waiting for his trial on sex trafficking charges, which is, that's a whole other story.
Exactly, yeah.
So this lawsuit it's just adding to that.
It really is, and it gets even crazier, because the woman who is making these accusations she's claiming that they pressured her into signing an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement.
So they're saying basically that she was forced to stay silent.
That's what the lawsuit's claiming, yeah, and there's more. It says that they gave her like a drink that made her feel sick, and then the assault happened in a bedroom.
God, this is it's awful. So what has Jay-Z even said about all this?
Well, he's denying everything, and he's calling the whole thing a blackmail attempt.
Wow, so he's saying it's all just a lie to get money from it.
Yeah, and he's attacking the lawyer who filed the lawsuit, by a guy named Tony Busby.
Okay.
And he's calling him an ambulance chaser, basically saying that he's just looking for attention and a big payday.
So he's trying to discredit the lawyer.
Absolutely, yeah. And Jay-Z, he's also filed a motion to dismiss the whole case.
Hold on. Can you explain what that means? What does filing a motion to dismiss actually mean?
Oh, yeah, sure. Basically, it means he's asking the court to just throw out the case.
Okay.
Before it even really gets going.
Gotcha.
Saying that it's totally baseless. He's also demanding that the woman who filed the suit, that she has to reveal her identity.
So he's really going after this, huh?
He is, and it doesn't stop there. His company, Roc Nation, they're suing Tony Busby, the lawyer, for extortion, saying that he's trying to extort money from Jay-Z with these accusations.
Okay, so what has the lawyer said about all of this?
Well, he went on Twitter and he called the lawsuit against him frivolous.
Okay.
So he's basically saying it's a waste of time and it has no legal merit.
Okay, so I remember you mentioned earlier that Diddy he's facing a bunch of other lawsuits already. How does this one connect to all those other ones?
Well, this lawsuit against Jay-Z, it's actually an updated version of a previous one that was filed against Diddy.
Okay.
So it's all part of a much bigger legal situation.
So it's not just this one accusation. This is a whole web of stuff,
Yeah, Diddy is dealing with over 24 lawsuits that go all the way back to the 90s.
Wow. With
accusations of, you name it, sexual abuse, abuse of power. We're talking about decades of alleged wrongdoing here.
That's really something. Have Diddy's lawyers said anything about this lawsuit that now includes Jay-Z?
It's interesting. They denied the initial allegations against him, but so far they haven't said a word about this updated complaint that names Jay-Z.
Interesting. But you said he's in jail right now, right?
I did. He's in jail awaiting trial, and it's scheduled for May 2025. So as we go deeper into this, you got to remember that Diddy's legal problems, they're not going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
And this new lawsuit it just adds another layer to all of it.
It's a lot to process, and we haven't even gotten into the relationship between Jay-Z and Diddy yet.
Right, and that's a big part of this whole thing.
Yeah, so it's more than just two guys in the music industry, right?
Oh, absolutely. Their connection goes way back to the 90s.
Okay.
And it's been a big part of both of their careers.
So this isn't just some random accusation against two celebrities. We're talking about two people who've been connected for a long, long time.
Exactly. And to really understand what this lawsuit could mean, we got to understand their whole history together,
Okay, so let's get into that. What can you tell us about their history?
Well, Diddy's influence, it goes way beyond just music. He's huge in fashion, in media. He's got connections everywhere. He's been a kingmaker in the industry, and his reach is It's huge.
So we're talking about someone with a lot of power.
A lot of power, and that's why these allegations against him and now Jay-Z they're so significant. This has the potential to shake up the entire music industry and even beyond that.
This is getting intense. We're just scratching the surface.
We are. So let's dive into their history and see what it can tell us about this whole situation. You know, it's kind of wild that this is all coming out while Diddy's already facing so much legal trouble. Like, does it all connect somehow, or is it all just a coincidence?
Right. It does kind of feel like one thing's leading to another, you know, accusations coming out, and now these guys who have been at the top for so long well, it feels like they're finally being held accountable.
It makes you think about power, about power dynamics in, like, the entertainment world.
Yeah.
It used to be these kinds of things would just stay hidden, but now it feels different.
It really does, and
yeah.
I think it just underscores how important it is to believe people who come forward with these accusations,
Right, absolutely. These are incredibly serious allegations,
yeah.
and they can have a huge impact on people's lives.
And it takes a lot of courage to speak up against powerful people like this.
Oh, totally, especially when you might face a backlash.
Right.
So I think it's really important to remember that everyone is innocent until proven guilty.
Of course.
But also, we need to recognize how brave it is for people to come forward with these kinds of claims.
It's a tough situation, right? I mean, we want to be careful about rushing to judgment.
Absolutely.
Or letting public opinion, influence the legal process.
Right, because the court of public opinion is, well, it moves fast.
Yeah, it does.
And it can be powerful, but it's different from the actual courts.
Right, exactly.
So as this case goes forward, I think it's really important to be mindful of how complex it is.
Mm-hmm.
And to remember that everyone involved deserves a fair trial.
Yeah, I agree. And while we're, waiting for the legal stuff to play out,
yeah.
I think it's also worth thinking about what this whole case could reveal about the culture of the music industry.
Yeah.
I mean, is this a systemic problem of abuse and exploitation? Or are these just isolated incidents?
Well, when you look at all those accusations against Diddy going back decades, it's hard to believe it's just, a one-time thing.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if the way the industry is set up, if it makes it easier for this kind of behavior to happen.
Right. Could these power structures actually enable this kind of thing?
That's the question, right?
Yeah. And then that brings up another question about the people in those positions of power. What's their responsibility?
Right.
I mean, shouldn't they be held to a higher standard?
Yeah, leaders, they have a responsibility to stop this kind of misconduct from happening.
Right.
In their organizations, not just to avoid doing it themselves.
This case is, regardless of how it turns out, it's a real reminder of that.
It is. It also shows how important it is to keep talking about consent,
yeah.
about power, about accountability. And not just in music, but everywhere in society.
Yeah, in our jobs, at school, at home, everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. And we need to be honest.
Yeah.
Even when it's uncomfortable. We have to challenge how things are and work towards a culture where everyone feels safe and respected, where people can speak up.
Okay, so far we've talked about the accusations, what people are saying, the legal stuff.
Yeah.
But what really gets to me is, how much this could change things, like a ripple effect.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
This is way bigger than just Jay-Z and Diddy.
Right.
This could change the music industry, the way things work, the way survivors are treated.
Yeah.
And it's all about creating a more just society, really.
It's going to be important to see what happens.
It is. The legal battles are just beginning, and the conversations this is starting are probably going to go on for a while.
So before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with this.
Yeah.
How do you think this is going to change the music industry?
And what does this tell us about our own ideas of power?
Yeah.
And consent and accountability?
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
They're important questions, so thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll definitely keep you updated on how it all unfolds.
It's hard not to think about Jay-Z's legacy with all this.
Right.
I mean, he's built this whole career on being successful and talented, even socially conscious.
Yeah, he's often seen as a role model, a symbol of Black excellence.
Right.
So if these accusations turn out to be true, it would really damage that image.
And it makes me think about that question. Can you separate the art from the artist?
Right.
If he's found guilty of this, can we still listen to his music?
It's a question people have been asking forever.
And there's no easy answer, but it's a conversation we need to have, especially with with something this serious.
Yeah, and for me, it also shows how important it is to hold people accountable.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how famous they are, how much money they have.
Right. No one is above the law.
Yeah.
And if he did this, he needs to face the consequences just like anybody else.
It's important to remember that this isn't just about Jay-Z, though.
Right.
This is about the woman who is making these accusations.
Yes.
Who was just a girl when this allegedly happened.
Her story needs to be heard, and she deserves justice.
Yeah, and we need to make sure that her voice isn't lost in all of this, in the legal stuff, in the media, and everything.
Absolutely. This whole case shows that behind all the fame and the glamour,
Yeah.
there are real people whose lives are affected by what other people do.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, and it makes you think about our responsibility as a society to make sure that everyone is treated with respect.
Yeah, no matter who they are or what their background is.
So where do we go from here? I think we got to stay informed,
Yeah.
follow the case, and keep having these conversations.
About power and consent
Mhm.
and accountability.
And we should support those organizations that are helping to prevent sexual violence.
Yeah, and helping survivors.
Right, because this is something that affects everyone, and we all have a part to play in making things better.
That's right.
Well, this has been a tough deep dive, but a really important one.
It has.
So thanks for listening, and we'll keep you updated on anything new that happens with the case.